All right, have and have not fans. Now, this is another subject which I found very interesting in last week's episode of the Haves and the Have Nots, where it seemed to me that Veronica was literally getting force fed information that she should already not only know, but believe to be true and know to be true by Benny Young himself. Now, the scene between those two in the hospital was actually more intriguing than I thought it would be, because I thought the whole time would be, oh man, because it looks like a sincere scene of, Veronica's hero going to get a thank you in person. And, then I was afraid the entire time that Veronica will pull one over on Benny to make it seem like she was going to be using him for an even bigger scheme down the line. But overall, it was a pretty touching scene, the fact that Veronica was sincere in the fact that Benny put his life out there on the line for her, but also the fact that, she really didn't have anybody else that would have done the same. But I would go as far to say that David and Jeffrey would have jumped in there to save Veronica had they known, she was in trouble. I do say that they would do that, despite the fact that Veronica tried to burn David up in the house. And I'm not even going to begin to list all the things she's done to Jeffrey since about season 2. But overall, what I want to do this video on is the fact that I still say that one of the best scenes of this episode was, when Benny and Veronica were talking and it got to the subject of how, wow, Veronica, you got a way of making people crazy. It's like, no, I don't. It's like, because you're a control freak. And then the look on Veronica's face just shifted, and you can even tell if you listen closely to the background music that the tone of the music shifted as well, because you can tell Veronica and the way she retorted as well. It's like, well, no, I don't. It's like, well, in a way, okay, I guess I do. It's just the way she received that information. And then she went on to say how, hey, can you go over to the house to get some stuff for me? So to me, I felt like Benny struck a nerve. I felt like he really struck a nerve. And then in a more playful scene, he asked about, who's the girl with you? Oh, that's my son's fiance. He's like, your son? Ain't he gay? It's like, no, he's not. And then, of course, Benny talked about what happened back in season 2 when they first met. Remember, at the time, Benny literally barged into Jeffrey's apartment looking for Candace. And I believe at that point, Jeffrey opened the door and kissed him, because remember, Candace said, hey, I got a board that I'm going to be sending in your apartment, so you better be ready. Or a man I'm going to send him your apartment, so you better be ready. That's why Jeffrey assumed that Benny was that man and kissed him. But then he got roughed up a little bit. And as Veronica said, I hope you heard him good. He's like, a man kissing another man. It's like, Veronica, that's your son. So I just wanted to do this video to say that, to me, it was very interesting to have somebody outside of her inner circle, her family, the Harringtons, and of course, the Criers, pretty much somebody outside of the Haves circle. It's about Veronica getting a taste of reality, but the fact is she probably won't accept that. She most likely never will accept that her son is gay and that she is a control freak. True, she said, well, yeah, I do like control, but I guess you could say that Benny dropping those truth bombs is interesting, because we got some Easter eggs back from season 2, because a lot of people who forgot it, I can understand people forgetting about it, because that was season 2. Not to mention people who just tuned into the show maybe a season or so ago never saw that episode. So that's why I definitely say that if you can find any kind of outlet where you can find the show, go back and watch it. But I just feel like Benny dropping the truth was something that Veronica needed to hear. I mean, look at everything Veronica has done up to this point, but honestly, aside from somebody fighting with her, aside from somebody yelling at her, when was the last time Veronica had like a quiet sit down with somebody and literally got information that she needed to hear? What she does with that information, that's another story, but that's why I feel this scene was just so good, in my opinion, due to the fact that it was a calm setting. Benny was he was dropping truth bombs like Maggie does. I believe David told Maggie, he's like, you don't drop hints, you drop bombs. So I just feel like Benny telling, that story actually made a lot of sense. But the question is, what's going to happen with Benny now? Because I believe Veronica's like, yeah, I control a lot of people, but I can't control you, can I? And Benny's like, yeah, that's right, you can't control me. And then Veronica had a look on her face like challenge accepted. So I'm wondering, what does that mean for those two in the future? I mean, is she just going to be using Benny for her own selfish needs? But I will admit that it does seem that there's going to be a kind of different dynamic between the two, because even Veronica and Benny both apologized about the whole situation because, you know, what they did shouldn't have happened. Obviously, we know that Veronica only got with Benny in spite of David, but now I really don't know what those two are going to be doing. Hopefully Benny gets his head on straight, but it looks like Melissa's going to be tugging at his, you know, chain, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I just hope those two don't get together, because it will just, Benny, so far it's only been 5 episodes and a lot of things have not been going well for him in terms of the decisions he's making. None of the backlash has happened yet, but I feel like Benny is definitely going to be burning the candle on 3 ends, not both ends, but 3. I just feel like there's extra candle in there. He'll probably play with fire too. But overall, I thought it was an excellent scene. The hospital, those two just talking, Benny dropping truth bombs. But the real question is, what will Veronica do with that information? If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. Thank you all for the support. And I mean, Tuesday night, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.